first episode of The Great Perspective, where we talk sports, family, politics, and everything in between. Um, First thing we want to talk about is that game over the weekend with South Carolina. South Carolina played Vanderbilt. They lost. That's my team. I hate it. And the quarterback, he went out after a hit. Uh, I thought that we needed that game because we got a tough road ahead. We got Alabama, LSU. I think we play Ole Miss. Uh, Missouri's playing well. So we got a lot of teams that playing good right now that we got to win. Um, the easiest, I won't say easiest, but yeah, the easiest game that we have on the schedule after this is at the end of the season, and that's Coastal Carolina. We close out with Clemson. So we got the rest of the season are going to be all tough games. But I think we might have put ourselves in a position where we're going to end up like last year, just, getting a bowl game. We'll get the Family Dollar Bowl or something. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, I don't believe in sellers. I don't think he has that dog in him. And I really want the head coach gone because I don't believe that he's a leader of men because he has had enormous talent over the past 5 years that most coaches done more with less.
Mm.
And we'll see, I know South Carolina got rid of Steve Spurrier, who was the winningest coach in South Carolina history, for less.
Mm.
So I think their temperament is running low with the current regime.
Yeah, he got to win now, but I think that loss, I think they're done. I think they're done. I mean, they'll get a bowl game. They'll get 6, 7 wins. But those games that they have to win to prove what they wanted to prove last year, I think this you're putting yourself like, I can't wait to see. I haven't looked at it. Where are they ranked now? I didn't even look at it.
I don't know. That loss might have. I ain't see, but it don't really. I ain't looked at it myself. But
what do you think about the fight Saturday? Crawford, Canelo.
I think Crawford. When I saw I watched the whole fight. Crawford, his style reminds me of Lennox Lewis, and Canelo reminds me more of a Holyfield. And as we know, when Lennox met Holyfield, Lennox won both fights. It's hard to beat a pure boxer unless you can match the same skills.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a fight I would want to see that ain't gonna never happen is Crawford and Mayweather.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen. Mayweather too old. He's 47 years old. That won't happen. That won't happen.
Yeah, Crawford's still in his 20s, ain't he?
Nah, he 37. He'd be 38. Canelo was 35. So they both at the end of their career anyway. So, and they got paid. I think Canelo made 150 million and Crawford made 50 million. But that's why they asked both fighters at the end of the fight. Max Kellerman, he asked both fighters, "Is this your last fight? Are you going to retire?" They made the money. So We just have to see. I thought Canelo, he was trying to counterpuncher. Like he was trying to bait him, trying to counter. Like
He
he
was
was
trying
trying
to
to
bait him to
counterpunch.
get the knockout.
Yeah, but it didn't work. It backfired. His game
Crawford too
plan
good
he
of a
had for the
boxer.
fight didn't work. Um, yeah, I thought some points in the fight, I saw Canelo do things I never seen him do. Um, like he would get hit, Crawford would give him a good jab or whatever, and he'd just back up and just look at the ceiling and shake his head. He did that like 3 times in the fight, and I thought that was weird. I thought that was weird. Um, what you think
But it was
about
a good fight.
yeah?
You got your money's worth.
Oh yeah. Well, it was free on Netflix. Netflix really, we talked about this before. Streaming services is gonna take over.
Yeah, I told you. I said it's not free because if you don't have Netflix, you can't watch it. But almost majority, 70% of the homes have Netflix right now. So in essence, it is free because you would have had Netflix whether the fight was on or not.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think, I spoke with you a long time ago about how Walmart knocked out Kmart and
The
Fred's
mom
and
and pops. Yeah.
all
Mm-hmm.
these other department stores,
Mm-hmm.
and then the streaming service
Blockbuster.
came along and knocked out Blockbuster,
Mm-hmm.
home, written DVD, period.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now, the streaming service, as they got these big investors, you saw the Prince was at the
Mm-hmm.
fight. They got these $1 billion investors.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now they finna knock out pay-per-view.
Yeah, I thought at one point I said, well, they're gonna. I thought the fight was gonna be a draw, but obviously it was a clear win. So you might be onto something. I think the the streaming services are going to take over everything. You look at the Christmas games, right? The
Yeah,
NBA
both
Christmas
of them.
games are going to be on Netflix. The NFL going to have games during the holiday on Netflix and Prime. So the streaming services are going to just take over everything.
I wish that's something that I would have foreseen 15 years ago.
Because you would have invested.
And made that investment.
Yeah.
Especially before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, yeah. It's like if you would have let me think of a big something big. I can't think of anything right now. But it's a lot of things. I mean, like
there's a lot of things. You just it's like chess. It's like the stock market. You got to see the future, basically,
mm-hmm.
but basically you got to go off of what's trending now.
Yeah.
Like when landlines was really it, and the people who created the phone, Bell South used to be Southern Bell. When they saw that the trend of cellular phone was taking over, they sold it, the company, to AT&T. Because they knew that landlines was coming to an
end. Yeah, right now it's AI. Anything connected to AI or AI intelligence, the manufacturing that it takes for the AI technology, that's the investment, because AI is the future. I seen some clips last week about South Korea rolling out robots. In Texas they're building a investment of $500 billion in a data center. The current administration, they want to want Texas to be the, well, not Texas, but the United States. They want America to be the AI capital of the world. So it's a lot, a lot of investments going on in AI. So yeah, I can see streaming services taking over. I also see Netflix and Amazon and Peacock are going to replace just like
PBS,
regular
18,
TV, regular cable.
PBS,
Yeah, they done.
ABC, CBS, and what's the other one? ABC is going to be replaced with Amazon, with Prime, Netflix, and Peacock.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you look at remember last year the election, and those mainstream media companies like CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they had to like come to this realization that people were going on YouTube and TikTok to get their news. People still watch sports shows. They still watch McAfee. They still watch First Take. But most people go to YouTube, and that opens up, the floor for like everyday average Americans like me and you. Yeah, you got some. That's why you look at Shannon Sharp, him and Ocho. They're doing their thing. You got NBA players, NFL players putting together their podcasts, doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, cable TV is done. The sports are going to the streaming services. The news going to social media. So cable TV is done. They're not even like your TV. You go like if you go buy a TV, the TV comes with. You can go. Some of them come with the apps already on the TV. Yeah. So that tells you right there.
It's on the remote where you can just hit a button, go straight to Prime, straight to Netflix.
Like on this remote right here, I got Disney, Prime, Netflix, and Tubi. Tubi. Already on the remote. You know what I'm saying? So this is the remote from my office, but yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think about that assassination last week of
Charlie Kirk? I thought it was sad that you can't have a opinion. Some people say he was racist. Some people say whatever. Some people say he was a hero. For me personally, I'm not left or right, Republican or Democrat. None of that. If I do get into politics and vote or whatever, I'm only going to vote locally. I said 2020 was my last election on a national level, because I realized then that the media itself is biased, and I never knew that. Being in the military, you walk around, TV on Fox News, TV on CNN. So we just take the information for what it was, and we follow orders and all that. But being now a civilian, and I see how they manipulate, and I don't like that. You can't go on TV or come into church or do all that. But getting back to your question, try to manipulate people. But get back to your question, I thought it was sad. I think it's sad that people are celebrating his death, but I think it's dangerous talk when I hear people talk about civil war over this issue. But both sides are to blame. You know what I'm saying?
You got some knuckleheads, but I don't think there's people like a lot of people celebrating it. You might have a couple of knuckleheads, but a lot of people, like some people are like me. I didn't even know who he was. But what I do know is he was a father, a husband that lost his life for what he believed in. And those are the same issues that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King died for. For you to have the right to say what you want to say and not be looked down upon or criticized because you don't agree with my views. I don't think no man should die over his opinion. I don't care what color he is, what race he is. Because if that's still going on today, then that lets you know our country is not where it should be after 50 years since the civil rights movement.
Yeah, that's sad. I didn't follow him, but I knew who he was. I've watched some of his videos. I didn't agree with some of it. Some of it made sense to me, and some things I just I didn't agree with. But I watch both sides. I watch Fox and CNN. I watch Candace. Excuse me. I watch Patrick Bet David, and I watch who else on the left? I don't know. I can't think of anybody on the left right now, but I watch both sides. So I knew who he was. And I mean, all he was doing was going to college campuses and debating people. And that's what college is supposed to be about. You're supposed to express your thoughts. You're supposed to learn how to express and expand your thoughts on certain topics. And if you can't do that without somebody trying to take you out, that's craziness. That means that's just craziness.
I mean,
you got to think about this. Not everybody agree with the alternative lifestyles. Not everybody agree with the way things are as far as gender roles. Not everybody agree with issues when it comes to race. Or I watched Patrick Bet David debate 20 socialists. Some people believe strongly in socialism, like give everybody free stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the government's job. And it's like, nah, even biblically it said man don't work, don't eat. So some people believe strongly in capitalism. But we live in a country where I can get on social media and talk bad about somebody without getting harmed. But if you go to another country, you can't do that. And I've traveled, when my time in the military, I traveled in other countries. In other countries, you can't do that. But, people just need to grow up and not be, it's just sad. It's just sad.
Yeah.
Think about the military thing with bringing the military into different cities.
At first, I was like, because he went to DC, then he had his eyes set on Chicago. Then he originally started in LA, then went to DC, then had his eyes set on Chicago, and then changed and went to and targeted Memphis. And my first intent, being a black man, like he's picking on these black cities. And then I spoke to you about it, and you opened my eyes, and you was like, well, it's not that he's picking on black cities, he's picking on high crime rate. Do they have a high crime rate in North Dakota for him to send the National Guard there? Do they have a high crime rate in Iowa for him to send the National Guard there? I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
like,
looking at it from that perspective, and it's not a high crime rate dealing with burglary and theft. It's a high crime rate dealing with violent crimes, murder, rape, home invasions, armed robberies, carjackings. That's something that Trump saying that this day and age shouldn't still be going on in the United States. because this is not a third world country.
Mm-hmm.
We should be beyond that. Not saying that crime ain't gonna happen, but it shouldn't happen at that high of a volume.
Mm-hmm. What upsets me is when people don't be honest about a situation. Like, every black person ain't from the hood or
We
no
try to
hood
make
stuff,
everything
but
about race.
yeah, but I'm just saying, black people, most of us, we know about hood laws and hood rules. Even I ain't no street dude, and I still know that if you're not from a certain area, I can't just go into Houston like I want to. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's certain
You know
areas
the
you
guy
can't go. Huh?
yeah, there's certain areas you can't go to, but you know the guy told me at work, he said, because I was telling him about our, podcast and starting out, and he was like, some of the topics me and you be talking about, and he said, to piggyback off of that topic, that issue, he was like, if you invite your brother to a party and you tell him, yeah, this is in the Mount Pleasant, mostly white area, oh, he gonna come with a suit and tie. He gonna come fresh. But if you tell your brother we going to this party and you tell him where it's at on the Macon, which is the ghetto, or not ghetto, but the majority black neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
he gonna say, stop at the house, let me get my gun. Because that's it's not a stereotype, because that's the areas of high crime.
Yeah.
So it's
And,
not nothing to do with race. Is that, and us as black people, we did it to ourselves. You can't keep blaming the white man no more.
No, it's 2025. Our wounds are self-inflicted. Like the symptoms and the seed is systematic. Yeah, that's why I said I can't be left or right, Republican or Democrat, because it's like I know that there are systems in place to slow the progress of black people. I know that. There's an article that that was out. It's called Banking Below 30, where the major banks, Chase, Bank of America, a few others, came together and they redlined the Dallas area, and they said everything below 30, they're not going to do investments, and everything above 30, they're going to do more investments. Well, South Dallas, south of 30, is more black, Hispanic, and north of 30 is more white. But the thing, they even took it a step further, and black people that applied for home loans and business loans were denied at 75%, even if they had the credit and the income. But whites that even the article found, the investigation found, that had less credit and less income were approved at 75% for businesses and home loans. So there's systems in place to slow down the progress of black people, but you can still achieve those goals. You can still be a homeowner. You can still be a business owner. Regardless of the systems, you can still continue. You don't have to just take whatever or just say, well, I'm gonna give up. I'm not gonna do it. No, you keep doing it. And eventually the door open and you get to whatever your goal is.
Yeah.
I just think that now in 2025, it's self-inflicted. It's just self-inflicted. Our problems now, we're doing it to ourselves. But that's just my take.
You have a choice.
Yeah.
Now, I can agree in some situations, especially the civil rights movement, slavery, they didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
But today you have a choice.
Yeah, you got a choice to work. And then it's so stupid. Like these kids, like, okay, we know in the white communities, they dealing with fentanyl, they dealing with opium. You know, they have their crime with that, but their numbers are not the same as ours. And you can't use the excuse, well, they only show the black crime. No, or it's proximity. No, ain't no proximity because the dudes are driving to do the crime. So it ain't proximity. I hate when I hear that, like a DL, he'll say that. It's about proximity, or somebody on MSNBC or CNN. It's about no, it's not. They driving to commit the crime. When you I watched a video today of a bunch of kids doing those smash and grabs. They drove the car to the place to get the Louis and the Gucci and all that. They didn't walk over there. They drove there. So I don't want to hear proximity. That's just foolishness. These people kill who they want to kill, or delete who they want to delete. But I just think as a whole, America got to do a lot of healing, man. Right now, we're a very, very divided country, a very, very divided country, and we're a very, very divided country, and man, we need the spirit of God in all this because it's just craziness. And I feel for the youth because they're not understanding that the laws. They're not paying attention to the laws. They don't understand that the One Step Act that let 30, I don't know what the number, 20, 30,000 nonviolent drug offenders out. But they don't understand that the federal government now you see them it seems like they're taking over a lot of cases. And it seemed like making all these deals with different countries, Ecuador, Salvador, 5 African countries. Seem like they're trying to take the prison system international. And these young kids are not seeing it. They don't understand policy and politics. They just living for the day. And that's what's sad. And they're wasting their time. They're wasting their time. Because they don't even realize that every time you make a mistake, you got to start over. And then before you know it, you're going to be 35 years old, 40 years old, and you done started over like 3 or 4 times in life. And they not even realizing one day you will be 65. And how are you going to be living? You know, because by that time, probably your parents have done passed away. Most of the people you grew up with done passed away. So, like, what your life is going to look like during that time. But I don't want to get too much into politics, man. I rather talk about sports, man. What's going on with that game right now? I ain't
Right
even
now,
got it
Tampa
on.
Bay down 14, Houston up 19. But Tampa Bay driving. The next game is who you think is the LA Chargers and the Oakland Raiders. I mean the Las Vegas Raiders. Excuse me.
Oh no, that's a loss for the Raiders.
You think the Chargers gonna take care of business?
Yeah, Herbert, that's a good quarterback. Herbert is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And then they got who they got over there now? Khalil Mack over there now?
Yeah, he been over there.
Mack.
But they lost both.
Yeah, Mack over there. So I mean, I think they I see that. I take the Chargers on that one.
That's a division game. I think the Chargers are gonna win, but I don't think they're gonna cover the points.
Oh yeah.
Like gambling, I take the Raiders with the points.
Oh, okay.
But just a straight up who win, I think the Chargers gonna win.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You
I
know what?
haven't looked at any of the sites yet. I mean, I glanced. Let me take that back. I did look at one of them just to see how the betting goes with the
Football.
NFL. And I see it. I said, okay, I can get it. You know, it might say, you think Herbert. Yeah, like Herbert, he'll throw for 200 yards. You know, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that bet on the over.
I'm gonna give some tips to the people who watch to want to know our perspective. When you picking, it's best to go with what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I stick with passing. Like you know, Josh Allen gonna pass for over 200 yards.
Yeah,
you know, Prescott gonna pass for over 200 yards.
Yeah.
You know, Herbert gonna pass. Just deal with passing yards, and then certain teams is the kicker gonna kick more than one field goal. That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're dealing with a team like Carolina, Atlanta, that you know field goals is probably all they're gonna kick. I stay away from receiving yards. I stay away from rushing yards because that varies game to game. Unless you're dealing with a Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I'll say this: whoever watched this video, and I hope y'all subscribe and like the video, help us support the channel. I tell you about my brother. He is this guy could be a scout. He could be a commentator. Don't let him fool you. He can tell you who played, what a player that played in the 80s or 70s and what college he went to, and how, he knows stats, he knows sports. So I think that's going to be a segment at the end of every episode. We need to do that for the football season.
Yeah,
for the NFL season. What we do, not picks, but your basic, like, your recommend, like, if it was you, what would you recommend? You get what I'm saying? How would you do it? How would you give, what I'm saying, not advice, because we can't give advice, but how would you say, okay, if it was me, this is how I would pick, and your reasoning why? Just like you said now, don't pick receiving yards, but look at field goals, especially with certain teams.
Yeah, certain quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow. Like right now, I'm gonna give my brother a quick 5 pick. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen,
I ain't got
Dak
no
Prescott, Herbert, and what's the guy from Green Bay?
Oh, Love.
Love. Just take their passing yards over and sit back and get your money on Monday. Now, stay away from players like Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson.
Why you say that?
Because they might have 180 yards passing and 75 yards rushing. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I would, they run the ball, but they pass it too. Lamar can give you a 300-yard passing game, but I take Burrow passing for 300 before I take Lamar.
Mm.
Baltimore from Cincinnati, I take Baltimore to win.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't take Lamar to have more passing yards than Burrow. Because look the other night, last night, Russell Wilson threw for over 400 yards and lost.
Mm-hmm.
And Dak had, what, 300 yards?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
I think the bet yesterday was over 200 yards, like 225, 250, something like that. That's what they had. So that was an easy one. I just didn't do it. I'm still watching to see. I need to
And they
just
got
try
the
to see
same
how
thing
it
that
goes.
apply in college football.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was some good conversations. Like I said, this is the Great Perspective, and this is the first episode. We hope you enjoy the commentary and come back, check us out, show love, subscribe, like the videos, comments. I'll be looking to respond to anyone. I'm gonna close it out. I'm gonna still rock with my Carolina, even though we took a loss.